We're here today to talk to you, experienced yoga teachers, about the possibility of offering a 200-hour yoga teacher training program and all the different formats that we have come up with on how to do that. One option could be offer a full program from beginning to end. Another option could be putting the hours into a modular format. And we also want to talk about the online training that is come to surface most recently and what we've done with that. So stick around. You do not want to miss these tips and details that we've come up with.
Are you ready to become a yoga trainer? Welcome to the Yoga Trainer Fast Track.
We help experienced yoga teachers become trainers in their very own yoga teacher training school.
If you wish it was easier to have your own training, we share tips and tutorials to make your wish come true.
If you're an experienced yoga teacher, like and subscribe to get free resources so we keep making more videos. Let's get started. First option I want to talk to you about is fairly traditional. You set a start date for your training and you take registrations, and a group of people will register for your training and you will walk them through a complete 200-hour training from beginning to end. And Aruna, you have some insights into how that might work, the pros and cons of that setup.
Yeah, the first thing is in our teacher training, the 200 hours, not all 200 hours are live. We have 40 hours of recorded training and we've divided them 10 hours per module. So that's kind of nice because students can complete that at their own pace so that when you're not in the live training, they can still follow up with other parts of the training. But starting with a 200-hour training with one cohort going through the whole training with a start and end date, that is kind of nice because you have the commitment of all those students to go through the whole training. The downside of offering a 200-hour training that way is that if you only allow people to register in this one 200-hour training course, you may have a student who, let's say you start in September, who shows up in October or November and wants to take the 200-hour training, and they can't register because you've already started and they would have already missed a big chunk of the training. So the downside of offering that 200 hour, the full 200-hour training is that new students might go to someone else for the training if they have to wait too long.
Which puts a really great pro onto the modular format. So as you saw, we have worked the system a little bit, taken that 200-hour training, divided it into 4 50-hour modules. 10 of those hours are pre-recorded on online. So that leaves our trainers and myself to continue teaching 40 hours per module. What's really great about this, I call it a rolling intake, and it worked for many years at my studio, was that we would begin one module, and then when it was time to begin the next module, we might have new joiners, so that's great as far as income as the studio owner. What's really nice about it is once you make it the full way through all those 4 modules once, then you're on this sort of constant system where every time you offer a new module, you've got people graduating, which is really inspiring for the new people starting, and you've got those new people starting who the graduates just cannot wait to show them what they've learned so far. So it can be really inspiring for everybody. It's really great because our program is quite interactive. There's a lot of practice teaching, and people that have 1 or 2 modules completed are much more comfortable leading those practice teaching classes and elements. So that can be also pretty inspiring for the new people, a little bit of relief for the new people sometimes. You're constantly offering your students more of a real life experience as to what they're getting into as a yoga teacher, because you never quite know who's going to come to a drop-in class, what injuries they have, where their mindset is in terms of yoga philosophy. So you're getting a nice flush of new energy and new levels of experience during every module. There is one downside, never for the students, for the trainer. You do end up on a bit of a lifelong carousel of constantly having people start a training and then hoping there's enough people to complete the training when they want to complete it. Otherwise, you're just going to be on that carousel ongoing. There's no good time to break and leave people without a complete 200-hour training. So do keep that in mind. And as terms of
Mhm.
like, as the business owner, in terms of profitability, I don't know that there's one that's better than the other. What do you think?
Yeah, in terms of income benefits, I think they're both pretty similar because both programs you can offer a payment plan so people can pay per module, which is I think what usually happens in the modular system is like it's 1/4 of your full payment. For ours, because we have 4 modules, the payment plan, I guess maybe for the 200-hour training, you might be able to divide that over the 10 months when you may not be training. So that might be a benefit in terms of giving people more flexibility and lower payments over 10 months. The benefit for us as trainers or studio owners is that that teacher training really does give a big cash injection into our business, especially if you're offering like an intensive format, or if let's say you're going to do a module in the summer, then you get this big cash injection from that people registering for that module, and that can sustain you over those slow months, which the slow months are usually holiday time. For me, December is a pretty slow month. New Year's, around New Year's that week, it really slows down. So that's a big plus about the teacher training is you might make for a teacher training module, what you might make in 3 months of teaching your other classes. So that helps you keep your business going.
Yeah. And really, what it comes down to is you have control as the trainer. You get to really bring the training to life by leading it on a schedule that aligns with your values. Some people love the idea of gathering together and doing it as an intensive and really immersing in the curriculum. Other people prefer to take their time and space that out. Everything is up to you. We've got a trainer in Bali who brings tourists to their retreat center, and they offer the training that way. So it's always going to be intensive. People can't commute back and forth to Bali. So that's always going to be their format. I've offered it as a combo. I've done it both ways. And we have another trainer who just brings her little spice of life to the training and only offers the training over 8 months, so one weekend a month for 8 months. And there has to be a full moon that weekend.
Mhm.
So that's how she makes the training unique and her own. It's fun.